Little Bid Man pulled this up. It's an old article, but oh man, when you hear people in the comments that say, Max, $17 Jasmy KPI, that's still realistic because, I want to be all rah Jasmy, but I also want to be a realist. Hey, man, I get it. I totally get it. So, Lil Bid Man has got this interpreted, which is really cool. And I'll leave it up on the screen. And I'll try not to make this too long, but I'm going to show you or, talk about verbatim real quick. So on Friday, September 30th, 2016, Fuji Sankai Business. They're part of the whole thing of accelerating IoT solutions as a long established venture. Okay. And you may be wondering about that. Well, basically, this long established venture has been in business for 70 years. There's an interview that happened, and it was with a guy by the name of Saburo Murata, if I pronounced that right. Yes, he's chairman of Tbgroup, just like you saw in the thumbnail. Okay, now some background about Tbgroup. Tbgroup, their core business are in LED. Even this monitor that I'm broadcasting from is an old school Acer LED. And I remember that was such game changer back in 2007 for me, right? But the key thing is understanding that LED is light emitting diode, if you weren't aware of it, digital signage, child cash registers, and also point of sale. It's a management thing they got going on. And basically, it will appear at CTEC Japan, basically this coming October 4th through the 7th of this year at Zhang Messi, not to be confused with Lionel Messi, for the first time. Now, is this another burger? Nope, not at all. Listen to this. Former Sony Tbgroup has invited Mr. Kunitake Kazamasa, former president of Sony Corporation, as a special advisor. Most importantly, the group will be developing the quote-unquote NEC stage, right? By utilizing the ready-to-use. Think about this for a second. I know we get distracted because we talk about other things. But ready-to-use IoT things, EW stage. Is that Energy Web? Should you own Energy Web token? Well, that's another story, but I would say yes. By utilizing ready-to-use IoT Internet of Things. Now, this company aims to create a new solution that businesses, will basically meet customer needs through, excuse me, what they call co-creation and collaboration strategies, different industries. What would those different industries basically be, right? But it's the current trend of quote unquote good 3K. Now you'd be like, huh? I'm watching you on 4K Max from my living room. Well, cool, but that's not what we're talking about. So good 3K is environment, health, tourism. Isn't that what Jasmy's all about? Yeah. It's key business areas, for example. So Saburo Murata, he's the chairman, and he's a representative director of Tbgroup. He, of course, shared his thoughts, but it's the origin of their long-established venture as a company motto. What is the motto? Listen to this. It's the joy of making people happy. Aha. Back to the Jasmy white paper. Why is that? Data harmonization, or what was the thing? Platinum data with happiness and all that crazy stuff. Secure knowledge communicator, platinum data with harmony and happiness. I mean, I can't wrap my mind around it all, but we've been there, we've done that. Icy probably in the comments, and he's got the exact quote, so go to Icy. But when this gets chopped up on the recorded, you can't do that, right? But anyway, the point is, working to achieve zero penetration, they always aim to challenge this thing called zero penetration rate. Now, let's not get our don't get our heads in the gutter, but they are always aiming to challenge to achieve this rate. The management slogan for the fiscal year is basically creating earning power on a new stage. They will be taking the challenge of entering a new stage. They are going to move from the era of business expansion through vertical integration from devices to products and enter into basically what is referred to as smart revolution, IoT, business, AI. Is that why Junction is part of the whole mix? You better believe it. But it's century slogan to create or co-create cutting-edge technologies and spread them through collaboration. Now, if you're just tuning in, this is the interpretation that you see on the screenshot. Now, you may be thinking, there is way more than that. Right, it's just a screenshot from part of that, okay? Goes on to also mention how they will horizontally divide labor partners who share these aspirations. Aha. And former Sony president and former chairman of Sony Life Insurance Co., Mr. Angwo Wei, has been appointed as special advisor to the company. It says they are eager to see the TB Group realize the vision of Mr. Yasugi's global open innovation and high-level management insight. They asked him to advise them as a management partner. As a first step, they will exhibit a co-creation strategy product with a Sony alumni company at CTEC. Did that go over your head? Did that go over your head? Pay attention to this. Sorry. Pay attention to this, though, okay? So, alumni. Who would be part of, like Sony alumni? I don't know. Maybe a guy named Kunitake Ando, Kazuma Sasato, possibly Tadashi Morita. They're all part of that alumni. Huh. Oh, Max he just connects stuff, but, when I look more into it, just all scam. No. Because guess what? We're actually going to show you some stuff tonight. And it's really incredibly interesting. And back to, the guy in the comment who asked $17 KPI 2026 is realistic. You want to know something? Isn't the whole bottom line of why we invest in some of these things is the hope and dream of the utility being used? And last I saw, how many impressive products did we get from Sony over many decades? Yeah, exactly. So this product concept for the new stage is, quote, signage. It's going to utilize IoT of our core business of LED digital signature. Furthermore, our 22-year-old patented product, which is called Skip Back Recorder, is now being used as a drive recorder. A while back, we talked about drive recorders with Jasmy. I don't know if you guys remember that. If you're new to this, you all go back to all this stuff. It's not time sensitive, but it's a drivable recorder. And basically speaking, they even have this thing called Skip Back Recorder, which is evolving and becoming popular, listen to this, as a drive recorder and digital tachograph, or it might be called taco. I don't know. It's not Taco Tuesday, but it sounds kind of funny. But Japanese interpretation. It's a digital tachograph or tachograph. Now, I'm not going to get into the deep dive about what that is, but the bottom line is they're developing and selling cloud and IoT. Now, we think about Jasmy scaling up, right? When it comes to Junction, that's the plug to scale up. But also importantly is what they're looking to do for a cloud solution. Okay, remember how we talked about Polkadot in the past? So, bottom line is, when will the new Karatsu, that's what's called Cut 3, happen? And they're advocating for this business domain, but there's a thing called 3 Ticey magazine. I don't know, the interpretation is getting garbled. Sorry. But is creating a thing called a streak with people in the service and billboard advertising industries are even getting on board with this to start a whole rental business and hotel wing hospitals. Again, remember how we talked about Care Project before, and even public sector markets. In the healthcare field, they're working with NTT Group, which we cited before, Shidax Corporation, which we haven't, Centricare, et cetera, et cetera. But hospital IoT, eyeing together with NTT Group, SEDAX, and even Centricare. Moving further down in this outline, they talk about how the company is working on developing, again, this is notes from Little Bit Man in the interpretation. They also talk about rental businesses that utilizes the internet. Listen to this last part. The group is working with shift to IPTV, which is called internet television. Now that sounds nuts. So if you can have something, some people may think, well, we already have internet television. I'm watching you on internet television to a sense. You'd be right. But how about having like IoT tied into that? Or people having a choice? Because as we know, if you listen to me as we speak, and your wife or girlfriend or whoever comes by and says, hey, guess what? I always throw this out. I don't know why. Weber barbecue, your grill is broken. You're going to get a bunch of freaking things about a Weber barbecue grill or whatever, right? It's going to fill your feed. Imagine that changing. We talk about the industry disruptors. Yeah. Do you understand the bigger picture? So check this out. They're going to promote a hospital concierge business using TOT, which I won't elaborate too much on that, but AI low-pot and tablets in the hospital, clinic, nursing care fields. Again, AI, inbound businesses and smart cash registered business status of development in inbound businesses using this, but mainly this whole thing of what is called as Tbgroup and their technology. The other thing I want to get into real quick, because I mean, this is a lot, I get it, is the continued work with this well-established company that's been around for 70 years. It talks about, for example, that they're going to celebrate their anniversary this coming November. There is pioneers, they're the pioneers, I should say, but they have evolved from a TV parts manufacturer to point of sale and LED displays with a company called Ryuku. Now, you may be thinking, man, can you just get to it? Just hear me out. There's a lot. So, the new stage, okay, that's the bottom. The new stage is the whole idea of becoming an IoT solution with a company with Horizon Division of Labor. Now, we even know in the past, there's Sony TVs, right? So Sony televisions, taking it with IoT, internet television in itself, and then that's crazy. I mean, how many people have TVs on as we speak? I mean, who doesn't have a TV at this point? So here's the bottom line. 400% relay team that will, they had something going on that said that they passed the torch with silver medal at the Rio Olympics. The Tbgroup is part of CTEC Japan, and they had this booth. Okay, they had a booth. You may be wondering, why is this important? Why is this part of Jasmy? All right. So bottom line is, you will see this in the outline. Okay, so I want to get to this next part about this. This is definitely worth pointing out. Let's go ahead and full screen this as well. Here it is. This thing is called Dataflux. Now, I know I'm shifting, and we're going to get back into the Tbgroup. I want to introduce Dataflux, okay, because I want you to understand the bigger picture. It is a concept credit card with the theme of climate change countermeasures that utilizes payment data. Now, again, you may be wondering about some of this and like, how does it relate to even the likes of good old Jasmy? But the bottom line is understanding, again, the bigger picture. And for me, when I got more into this and so on, I was blown away with some of the findings from Little Bidman. Most importantly is understanding, this whole concept of what is called ready-to-use IoT. I mean, think about, the television is ready to use. So Dataflux, remember how we covered Panasonic? Yeah. So the whole thing with Panasonic, that's coming up here on the next slide. But you got to keep in mind, Dataflux utilizes payment data. This is also why I mentioned the whole thing of Dip Metaverse and his, research in regards to Ripple, even my research in the past with Ripple, Houston, et cetera, et cetera. But what you're going to see here is that this is big because it's the whole theme of climate change countermeasures that utilize payment data, visualization of personal CO2 emissions provided by what they call Dataflux. It's a service which is referred to as a Because wallet. Now, some people point out, is this where we're going with Jasmy? And I very well feel as though, yeah, but it might not necessarily be like Dataflux, but will they utilize the utility? So this is going to allow offsetting. It's going to allow a function to automatically link credit card payment data and because, I don't want to call it because card members, they're going to visualize CO2 emissions based on your daily credit card usage history. The card will issue digital card on the smartphone app in as little as 5 minutes from the completion of the credit card application and will not issue a plastic card. You can use online shopping and contactless payment. So remember where we talked about IC cards? That's a big thing. That's like, in my opinion, Japan flipped the switch at physical stores, and your statement is a smartphone complete payment service that you can check with the app. So what's your takeaway from here? Your takeaway is, do you understand why Hara is pushing Junction so much? Because Junction will be your plug for Jasmy and Super Bowl. It's not here yet, but man, that's supposed to be right around the corner. A little bit more about this. Let's go to the next particular slide. There's details if you want to nerd it out. You go to sason.co.jp, type in credit card. This will come up. Here's a little bit more from, Datafluct. I know some people don't like me saying but anyway, I was just trying to pull that up. So back last year, about a year ago, Panasonic accelerator by Electric Works Company, Dataflux. So again, we understand Jasmy already has that confirmed partnership with Jasmy. If you're watching right now, you're like a Jasmy flutter. You're like, nope, I Googled it. I didn't find anything. Guess what? We already confirmed that. We've already been there. We've done that. Both on Jasmy's site, both on even Panasonic. That's a real thing where they literally mention Jasmy. So there's that. It's just pounding that home a little bit more in regards to all this. As we jump to the next particular slide, this is datafluct.com/news, and basically Datafluct Carbon Neutral Business Idea wins President Award at the Accelerator Program, Panasonic accelerated by Electric Works Company. Now, what's important before we get even more into this is understanding that, when Little Bitman was talking about this whole thing of, this realization, okay? Let me take a moment to come back into the frame. So in his notes/interpretation, he mentioned specifically that, it's how all this is tied in together with itself. And most importantly is understanding, like when we talk about this concept of internet TV, the company working on the development of IPTV is a rental business that utilizes the internet, but shifting to all this and the demand, right? Hear me out on this for a second. I know this is a lot to take in, but the goal is to, back to the reference of that interpretation, to convert approximately 400 hotels, 35,000 rooms into what they call IPTV and provide inbound multilingual broadcast, events, rapid broadcasts, Wi-Fi, interpretation services, free sample services. Those are patent pending, by the way. But these are all for the goal of developing an e-commerce business in Asia. And most importantly, to have this whole thing of an evolved TV parts manufacturer that's now taking it to the next level with IoT, like an actual IoT solution with television and that data that let's just be honest, our devices are listening to. As I jump back into what I want to share with you on this, take it back to Dataflux. Look at this for a second. It states how this program is going to do what? Solve some things. I have to have that bigger. Sorry about that. So you see Panasonic Accelerator, right? Think about that for a second. It's a program held with an initiative to accelerate new businesses through co-creation between Panasonic and startups. Remember how many times we mentioned how key startups will be and the VC funding? All right, so been there, done that. But the point is, understanding the know-how, aiming to create a better today and better future. That's part of the whole data harmonization and happiness. And look at this, the transformation of living infrastructure. 9 startups were selected in November 2022, and before about 4 months, the startups and promoters conducted research towards commercialization, making maximum use of Panasonic's EW's resource. Back in 2023, around this time, there was this whole thing about where they had a demo and they shared some of these things. And here is the bottom line. They came up with this thing called Face-to-Face. It's a value creation platform. And they tackled the whole thing of social issue of CO2 reduction head on. And they were even awarded, I should say, the President's Award in particular. And back to this, when I talk about TOC, perspective of POC. Even with POC, I believe I just mentioned this with Quant. Interesting. And it's in-depth exploration of the possibilities of new TOB service models. Here's some of the people that were at that event. Of course, obviously Japanese. And they had this whole thing of the next deployment, but like it says, it's about gaining the knowledge. I don't know, maybe secure knowledge about the direction of the service development. In the future, they will utilize this knowledge to promote Panasonic Green Impact. I mean, it's almost word for word what Jasmy mentions in their white paper. That should also be your key takeaway, because you've seen her also talk about advocating and supporting decarbonization, right? And even Jasmy's perspective on that. Okay, how does this look on a visual? This is how it basically looks. But look how it says Bco's wallet. Very, very similar to what Jasmy's doing. Now, I get it. You guys want it to say Jasmy. Oh, I don't care about all this. You always try to educate me. I don't care. I just want to see price now. Well, we're going to get a little bit more into some of this. So, PR Times reported Sison Card Digital for Bcos, a credit card issued in partnership with who? Yeah, you read that right. Credit Sison that allows users to visualize their CO2 emissions. They provide a collaborative service with Akagi Nature Park. It says it's an acorn seedlings that were found and raised in the Akagi Nature Park, and they're being carefully cultivated for transplantation. This collaboration campaign that's being carried out again this year. How long ago was this posted? Not that long ago, only a few days ago. Look at the date, May 31st, 2024. All right, remember how we talked about some of these people? So this is Datafluct, and it says that their director and CEO referred to this whole thing to solve corporate and social problems using what? Data science. Credit Saison. And what's also interesting is how they are partnering to issue this card. I mean, again, think about it. Remember all the talk about the IC card? Tara Kono getting this mandate going? What happens with this? And most importantly, when we finish the outline, when you see the connections, and this is why Little Big Man is putting so much emphasis on this. And Little Big Man, if I skipped some things, I apologize. I just try not to make this like 2 hours. So it's a collaborative service with Akagi Nature Park, and it's based on the shopping area, I guess you could say. But look at this for a second. This dates back to 2023. And think about this for a second. Remember when I was talking about Stellar, and I did that deep dive outline called, was it Stellar XLM AI? And you showed an example in regards to Jed McCaleb and also Elon Musk and how they have common ground. Is this not another example of that common ground, you guys? That's the point I'm trying to make. All right, getting a little bit more into this. So it's that collaboration. Look at this for a second. You don't think you're going to see utility motion here? Look at this. It says that this collaboration services with Akagi Nature Park in 2024. This year, they're going to continue this campaign. Bcos card, annual shopping purchases, 300,000 yen or more will receive a pair of admission tickets. I mean, remember how we talked about using, your PDL paired up with the DD token to purchase tickets, to get on a bullet train, to whatever. That's another perfect example. All right, look at this. From December 11th, 2023 to December 10th, 2024, for every 10 million spent by all Bcos members, a pot for germinating acorns will be donated. Now, you may not think this is such a big deal, but it's a perfect example of utility put into motion. Okay? A little bit more about this, because this is the technical nitty-gritty that you need to know about. Look at this. This is a concept, but man, it's coming to realization. It's a credit card with the theme of climate change measures that utilize payment data. My God, listen to this. It comes with a function to automatically link credit card payment data to the Bcos wallet. When, Jasmy doesn't have an official title when it comes to the Super Wallet. They just call it the Super Wallet. Think about that for a second. The Super Wallet is the plug to all of this. Just for the same reasons, and I know a lot of you guys who watch this content, you're only focused on Jasmy. You also need to pay attention to what's going on with Quant. Because remember what we just reported on, Monday's live show, and then even on that recorded deep dive video, that you have, this unified ledger, okay? And then you have this universal wallet. Take Jasmy, for example. Do you understand the bigger picture? I would have totally watched some of that. You don't have to watch it in one sitting, but it'll give you a better idea because I understand some of this stuff may fly past certain people's head. All right, so this service was provided by Dataflux, allows individuals to visualize and offset their CO2 emissions because card members can visualize their CO2 emissions based on their daily credit card usage history. In addition, because issues a digital card on smartphone app in as little as 5 minutes, like we said before, after completing the credit card application, and does not issue a physical card. I mean, again, this is Web3, guys. It's a smartphone-only payment service that allows you to use contactless payments for online shopping, physical stores, etc., etc. There's an example. There's the MasterCard symbol. Huh. But again, this last part, I say again, but in reality, I need to share this. Dataflux business partner with the vision of turning data into business. Isn't that Jasmy's main model? Not just for businesses, but come on, for the government. Creates new value from buried data and solves social issues. Strengthens the multimodal data utilization that is not limited by data format. Look at this a little bit more. Includes unstructured data. Company can collect, store, process, analyze data in a seamless manner. Company also develops its own services that focus on global standard issues. Remember how we always talk about standards with ISO? Such as reducing losses through demand forecasting, sustainable urban planning. I mean, remember, okay, I'm going to have my moment right now. I always joke around about this. The Rice Crop Consortium. Is that not the same? Literally, it is. All right, tad bit more. Look at this. Behavioral change decarbonization aiming to realize a world where anyone can make sustainable decisions by effectively utilizing the data. Interesting. All right. Maybe this is the moment you're waiting for. I don't know. This is Sony. Let's take a blast from the past. So on February 6, 2014, you maybe think, like, I don't know why he keeps going back, because it's going to be great on the outline. Sony and Japan industrial partners signed what? Memorandum of Understanding for sale of PC business. Yeah. And when did Jasmy come around? When did Jasmy technically start? Like 2016? You know? People joke about this. They laugh when we reference old articles. But it just pounds it home that much more. Do you understand the bigger picture? I really hope you guys do. You know, I would never be the guy who's like, "Oh, I told you so," or just turn into a guy that's just like, make things divisive. I'm not like that. But I will point out some of these things because, man, when we talk about the bigger picture, like when we were first introduced the concept of cryptocurrency, you're immediately thinking that term currency. How can I use this to buy goods and services? But what about like some data services, like the cream of the crop? I mean, think about how much Google's worth. Think about how much Jasmy will be worth because it's literally the crypto night that disturbs an industry that really needs to be disturbed. Let's just be honest about that. And look at Elon Musk's position, how he's going about some of this stuff, right? I don't even need to get more into that again. So there's this, and you will see a tad bit more. What does it state? It states back then that Sony and Japan's industrial partners do what? Announced that they have entered back then a memorandum for understanding that confirms their intent for Sony to sell JIP Sony PC business, currently operator under Vio brand. My God, this sale. Sony and JIP are aiming to conclude definitive arguments. That already happened, right? All right. So we don't need to get any more into all that. But what's also cool is the lineup: corporate PCs, Japanese market, optimization, how you scale it, et cetera, et cetera. Right? All that stuff is definitely worth pointing out, And then, it just goes on and on. But man, what a reference, right? All right. Jump into this next part. I had to shrink this way down because if I didn't, see this little pop-up on the bottom left, it would just cover the whole screen. So you're going to have to bear with me. We're going to get through it, but it's going to be good. So this is from PitchBook/news/articles in regards to Toshiba Japan, their industry partners. As we get into this part, you will see that Japan Industrial Partners successfully led a $2 trillion yen bid, I should say, to acquire Toshiba. And that was ending the industry's giant 74-year history. Why is it important? It's an acquisition. Look what it says: to acquire 78.65% of the company. And it was initially agreed to in March, but it was part of a tender process to at least 2/3 of the company's shares to be secured before a transaction could succeed. Now, this deal will see Toshiba delist by the end of the month, and it's basically a culmination of years of uncertainty for the 140-year-old conglomerate. Again, this is, I believe, an interpretation from English or Japanese to English, but it says, in the past, Toshiba suffered a series of crises, including mounting losses all the way back to 2015. It goes on to mention restructuring, but most importantly, it mentions the whole thing of selling a number of businesses. Among them is a $6.2 billion sale of medical equipment business to Canon in 2016. And basically also references this whole thing of this consortium, 18 billion a priced ship unit in 2017, 869 million sale of this, air conditioned business with Toshiba. But look at this again. Aha, I know it's hard to see. Maybe I can zoom in without that pop-up. Yeah, see how it does that? So we'll just leave it right there. So look at this, JIP. You may be wondering, because guess what? Remember how we talked about on the previous screen? Look at this. Look at this again, just in case you forgot. Boom, JIP, Sony and Japan Industry Partners. To do what? That memorandum. How nice to see this line up. That's your bottom line. Okay? So that's big. Very, very big. And again, understanding, Japan's industry behemoths becoming, the latest prize of Japanese private equity, et cetera, et cetera. But check this out. Dataflux. We're still on topic of them. Interpretation from Japanese. If you go to their X page, data science for every business. And look what it says on the interpretation. This is really good if you're really paying attention. We are a startup that has strengths in multimodal data utilization regardless of data format. Think about that. Regardless of that format. Realizes data collection, accumulation, processing, and analysis in a seamless manner. Doesn't Jasmy always mention that? Yeah. Vision of turning data into business. That sounds familiar. We create a new value from buried data and, of course, solve social issues. Certified as the JAXA venture company in 2019. Obviously, Lil Bidman follows them, and even Brian from the Jasmy Research Consortium. As we jump into the next page that's worth pointing out is this whole thing of Datafluct and so on. And they pointed out on August 6th of 2023 that the Nikkei Online Edition published an article on Dataflux Special ID Demonstration Project. Why should you pay attention to this? Because as we get more into the outline, it will highlight that Hitachi and Takanaka Corporation are going to digitize entire towns by applying ID to spaces. This is back to the whole thing of why we pointed out Society 5.0, smart cities, and so on, the bigger picture. All these groups, all these companies, part of that bigger picture. Okay? Let's zoom in a little bit more about this. Let's go to this screen as well. This is from the Nikkei, August 7th, 2023. The article is referencing. Look at this quote. See if we can. Okay, I guess that's the most we can zoom in without it looking too bad. But it states digitalization space underway. How so? Goes on to mention about real world is divided into three-dimensional virtual boxes assigned IDs. Hitachi and Takanaka Corporation plan to link information on buildings and people flow. If you saw my little demo, shout out to NeoXTricks. Remember how we showed those buildings and we showed, for example, IoT talking to each other? Picture that, just in case this flies over your head. And it's that flow. Again, Taro Kono, data free flow with trust, to IDs to enable drones and robots to operate safely and autonomously. This technology can be applied to the transportation of goods. It's predicted that the related markets will exceed, did you read this? Did you read this? Are we not paying attention to this? 3 trillion yen in the 2040s. Well, I thought Jasmy scam. I saw a guy with a puppy dog looking thing on Crypto X, and I didn't buy no Jasmy. I listened to that guy's research. I don't got time to listen to a guy talk about Jasmy for 4 hours. All right, well, teach us out. Anyway, in the center of Miyamiyosoma City, I'm not pronouncing that right, Fukushima Prefecture, there's a residential commercial facilities, and they're concentrated. It says Hitachi and others use a drone to fly from a pharmacy in the city to a community center about 1 kilometer away. So they got more about this, but it tells you kind of like how it all works. But the bottom line is, again, guys, these assigned ideas. When we get this mandate and understanding that quote, let's go back to that quote, you know, back to this real quick. Yeah, here we go. About how it's going to happen in a seamless manner. And then the other quote, I don't have it up on the screen, but saying that it basically, it's not constricted. It doesn't necessarily matter what language is put in. That's game changer. That's absolutely big time game changer. Okay. All right. So we're going to jump over to here. And actually, we're going to show a little bit more about this. This is from Datafluct. A little bit more about turning data into business. Summary of their products. They have this thing called Air Lake. It's look at this cloud-based platform allow anyone to convert unstructured data. Again, that should be your key takeaway into usable data easily. I'm telling you flat out. I mean, if I'm talking about ISO 222, and I'm talking about ISO TC 307, the Quant Network Standard, and how Quant basically complements ISO 222. Do you not now understand how this complements everything? Do you not understand how supply and demand will kick in for your beloved Jasmy? You better believe it. Some people won't choose to believe it, and that's okay too. All right. Take a moment to go back into this because I think I'm going to blow this up a little bit more. Hopefully, it doesn't stretch it out too bad. But I love this statement. Cloud-based platform allows anyone to convert unstructured data to usable data. They had this whole thing of servicing focus on a global standard issues such as loss reduction through demand forecasting, sustainable urban planning, behavior modification towards decarbonization, aim to realize where everyone can make sustainable decisions through effective use of data. Very interesting. Remember how I also mentioned that you need to consider Jasmy part of the XDC mix and Morpheus network mix and VET. Read this as well. Supply chain management provides optimal purchasing and production with a highly accurate automatic demand forecasting system that combines machine learning and external data. There is your plug to what we've been talking about for the longest time with what? Do you guys remember some of that stuff? Remember the whole thing of what we talked about with the robotics plug? Yeah, you guys remember. I don't even need to tell you guys anymore. I feel like I'm a broken record at this point. All right. Let's jump into this. This is from Jasmy Token, which is Little Bidman. I mentioned this is from his Reddit account. Now, here's your aha moment. And I wish I could zoom in more, but I'll show you a little bit more detail. And this will be your boilet mash that's sticking in stew. It says at CTEC 2016, Jasmy back then had a booth, and it was in the same hallway as Toyota, Panasonic, Hitachi, Clarion, NEC, NTT, Huawei, Fujitsu, and Mitsubishi. Okay? I wish I could zoom in a little bit more. If you want to see, you go to jesa.or.jp, maybe do a search, or maybe just request a little bit, man, to give you more that's zoomed in. But Here's another note from him from his research 2 years ago. Little Bit Man says this might be their first public appearance and presentation is Jasmy. They are listed as sharing a booth with who? Bajit and Tbgroup. All right. Now look at this. Here's the note from Reddit. On that brochure, you know how sometimes you go to like a baseball game or whatever the case be, they give you a program, right? We go to a big blockchain conference. You know, a big outfit's going to give you like a little brochure program for, the agenda, right? I mean, that just makes sense to be organized. So look what it mentions here. It states Information Technology Industries Association, Japan Federation of Electronic Parts Distributors, Japan Remote Control Limited, Tokyo Aircraft Instrument, Japan Space Systems, Jasmy Inc., Bajit, Tbgroup. Now, you guys are probably wondering about all of this, all right? So what I'm going to do now is I promised I would give you guys a little bit more from Yosh. So shout out to Yosh, sideline reporter, working here at Maximus Crypto. He has done a summary of Tbgroup and why it's important. This is a very well put together presentation from Yosh. Okay. Let's go ahead and share this. This is good stuff. Smash the like if you haven't done so already. This is from sideline reporter of Maximus Crypto, and that is basically Yosh.
7 decades of innovation introducing Tbgroup. Tbgroup has a rich history of innovation. For over 70 years, they have been at the forefront of technological advancement. The company began its journey in 1954. It quickly gained recognition for its commitment to quality and cutting-edge solutions. Over the decades, Tbgroup has adapted to the changing technological landscape. Today, Tbgroup stands as a leader in the Internet of Things, or IoT. Their forward-thinking approach is shaping the future of IoT. With a firm eye on what lies ahead, Tbgroup is poised to define the next generation of technological solutions. Tbgroup's success stems from its dedication to pushing boundaries. CTEC 2024, a showcase of ingenuity. The annual CTEC exhibition in Japan is a major event. This year, Tbgroup took center stage. They unveiled their latest groundbreaking IoT solutions. At the heart of Tbgroup's presentation was the concept of connectivity. Their IoT solutions are designed to seamlessly integrate devices. 2 key areas where Tbgroup is making significant strides are digital signage and smart drive recorders. These innovations highlight the practical applications of their IoT solutions. Tbgroup's participation at CTEC generated a lot of buzz. Industry experts and potential customers were impressed. Their innovative solutions are poised to disrupt traditional industries. The power of pixels, revolutionizing digital signage. Imagine a world where digital billboards adapt in real time. Tbgroup's digital signage solutions are dynamic, data-driven, and fully connected. Thanks to the power of IoT, these signs can gather and analyze data from their surroundings. This allows for unprecedented levels of customization and interactivity. Tbgroup's IoT-enabled digital signage offers businesses tangible benefits. Imagine retailers tailoring promotions based on real-time customer demographics, or transportation hubs providing up-to-the-minute transit information. By harnessing the power of IoT, Tbgroup is transforming digital signage. This platform engages consumers, provides valuable insights, and opens up exciting new revenue streams. This is the future of advertising and information dissemination. Section 4. Driving into the future. Smart drive recorders and beyond. Tbgroup's innovative spirit extends beyond the realm of digital signage. They are also making significant waves in the automotive industry with their cutting-edge smart drive recorders. These devices leverage the power of IoT to enhance safety, security, and efficiency on the roads. Imagine a world where fleet managers can track their vehicles in real time. Tbgroup's smart drive recorders make this a reality. By connecting vehicles to the internet, these devices provide a wealth of data that can be used to improve driver behavior, optimize routes, and streamline insurance claims. For individual drivers, these devices offer peace of mind and increase safety. Tbgroup's foray into smart drive recorders is a testament to their commitment to leveraging IoT to improve everyday life. By connecting vehicles and drivers, they are creating a safer, more efficient, and more connected transportation ecosystem. Section 5, the collaborative ecosystem, forging partnerships for success. Tbgroup understands that the true power of IoT lies in collaboration. They have adopted a collaborative ecosystem approach, partnering with industry leaders and innovators to create transformative solutions. This commitment to collaboration is evident in their partnerships with companies at the forefront of AI, cloud computing, and data analytics. By combining their expertise with the strengths of these partners, Tbgroup is able to develop solutions that are greater than the sum of their parts. This collaborative approach not only accelerates innovation, but also ensures that Tbgroup's solutions are compatible with a wide range of existing and emerging technologies. By fostering a spirit of collaboration and co-creation, Tbgroup is building a robust ecosystem that is driving the future of IoT. Section 6 is shaping tomorrow. Tbgroup's vision for the future of IoT. Tbgroup's journey into the world of IoT is just beginning. With each innovation, they are shaping the future of how we live, work, and interact with the world around us. Their vision for the future of IoT is one of seamless connectivity, intelligent automation, and data-driven insights that empower businesses and individuals alike. Imagine cities where traffic flows smoothly thanks to real-time data analysis, homes that anticipate your needs, and workplaces that optimize themselves for maximum efficiency. This is the future that Tbgroup is building, one where IoT is seamlessly integrated into every aspect of our lives. Tbgroup's unwavering commitment to innovation, collaboration, and customer centricity positions them as a leading force in the rapidly evolving landscape of IoT. As they continue to push the boundaries of what's possible, one thing is certain: Tbgroup's journey into the future of IoT is one worth watching closely.
All right. Well, big thanks to the one and only Yoshimitsu-san. We really do appreciate your sideline reporting. And with that said, let's get back into the last bit of this particular Jasmy outline. So, Tbgroup, Datafluct, all this, right? We learned a lot tonight, at least we should have, understanding the bigger picture. As far as just us being a token holder and so on, there's going to be mixed reaction in regards to this. But if you really, truly understand what Jasmy's connected to, then my goodness, right? All right. Just the last bit in regards to my notes. So some highlights that wasn't necessarily shared from Yosh, but some things I wanted to point out was, Tbgroup, okay? So their strategy. So what I gathered is they are definitely leveraging IoT technologies to do what? Well, to basically transform its core business areas. What could that include? Well, like we shared earlier in the outline, LED, digital signage, even that point of sale, right? But it's the introduction of what is referred to as quote unquote signage. And what's important in regards to you being a Jasmy holder is understanding that smart drive recorders basically illustrate a commitment to integrating IoT for enhanced functionality and just that, customer engagement. Even I myself, as a content creator, right, I'm also looking for that engagement. But how is that tied into IoT? And most importantly, how is that properly recorded in that data and making sure that we are protecting people's data by not just letting it go out to the centralized authorities? When we talk about Jasmy being a kryptonite, if you will, to disturb the industries of the central powers of GAFA-M, well, you can have an idea of how this all comes together. What about this collaboration one more time, or the co-creation of this Tbgroup, et cetera, et cetera? Well, the group in itself emphasizes, of course, the collaboration with various industries, experts, including, and you heard this right, Kunitake Ando, as we know, former Sony president and a special advisor. That was where we're going with this. That was the alumni that we're referring to. But this approach, you better believe, aims to foster innovation and creation solutions to cater to evolving market needs. What needs? What wants? What about the expansion into a new business area? Tbgroup in itself is expanding into sectors such as healthcare, as we know, tourism. And we've seen Jasmy with constant plugs to tourism, but it's in the environment through smart solutions, smart cities, you name it. Their work with NTT Group in itself and other partners to develop hospital concierge services, and even, like I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the outline, IPTV. You may think that the whole concept of IPTV as a nothing burger. But you better believe if everybody has a television and all of a sudden that is now properly collecting data, but not just freely giving it away to the central powers. Do you understand how that's utility in motion? So that indicates strategic diversification, but most importantly, it's this whole thing coming up in later months this year for CTEC, Japan. So TB Group has a presence that will be at CTEC Japan, and I did have a video in regards to that, but it was all in Japanese. I didn't want to bore you with it, but in the visuals, it shows point of sale and some of these other things, IPTV. And what's also important is understanding that you have the whole thing that this is definitely a prominent tech event. And I'm sure, calling it right now, members of our community, next Strix, Houston, Dip, Icy, anybody else I'm missing, Minalagwar, I see you, brother. I miss you, man. But it's understanding somebody's going to chop that up and share it with the community. But that is a big tech event. And most importantly, in Japan, it signifies their active role in what? Showcasing, promoting latest innovations, thus enhancing their visibility and market reach. But pause on that for a second. While they're displaying these products and these innovations to the world, or maybe only the world focuses on Japan, or maybe it's just Japan having a really cool event. When we see things go parabolic in price, for example, Jasmy and so on, and you're wondering, why are these things happening when there's nothing being mentioned? Understand, it is what it is tied to, okay? That's supply and demand. We already had examples about that when we got all that news when Jasmy first took off from the 0.0056 levels to the, over a penny, over 2 cents and so on. Why? Because of semiconductors. Again, supply and demand. It's what it's tied to. Always be more interested in what things are tied to than just getting a mention of direct partnerships and so on. Because again, why are you invested into utility? Because you want to see that, I know I say it all the time, being put into motion. All right, so what about the implications in regards to Jasmy? Great question. This has what is referred to as strategic alignment with IoT, does it not? As we know, Jasmy focuses on just that, IoT, but not actually just that. Also finance democracy, hence why I cited what Dip mentioned with Ripple. But it's blockchain technologies and how they find synergy with TB Group in itself. And those advancements, the collaboration is mind-blowing. But TB Group's IoT devices to enhance security, enhance data management, customer trust, and so on. Again, the two complement each other. Now, while you may not hear about direct partnership, you better believe it's just like with Bijit. Those are great examples. And to have Sony alumni like, Kunitake Ando, that is huge. That writing is already on the wall. What about the market expansion, innovation? Well, hear me out. TB Group's diversification into new business areas and the new innovative products like, for example, iSignage and smart drive recorders can serve as a model for what? For Jasmy, exploring new applications. Hence why I gave the smart wallet example earlier for their technology. You better believe it's going to drive market expansion and innovation, positioning Jasmy as a key player in the whole bigger picture. Another thing I want to point out before we conclude this is the whole thing of industry influence. Have you noticed Hara even is trying to reach out to people doing collaborations and so on? That influence. They recognize us just as much as we recognize them. Say what you want. Jasmy going into the top 50 of the top 100 was a big move. By aligning with established companies, for example, TB Group and so on, Jasmy can enhance his influence, credibility in the tech industry. It's going to solidify themselves even that much more. You better believe it's going to open doors for significant projects, collaborations, thereby accelerating their growth and adoption for their tech and their conclusions. In conclusion, in regards to all this move by TB Group highlights the growing importance of just that, IoT, Internet of Things. So for Jasmy, while this signifies opportunities to align with industry leaders that will explore new markets, you better believe that we will still see Jasmy enhance the tech. Be out on the lookout for many things coming out on the near horizon. More of the lockup, more talk about Junction, but most importantly, understanding that we want to get to these goals of 100 plus million PDLs. And we want to get to these targets of that KPI 17 plus dollars in 2026. But why do we all share this? And why are we all passionate about this? Shout out to Lil Bidman once again. It's the alignment, everybody. It's the alignment that can drive forward Jasmy's mission of creating a secure, decentralized ecosystem, expanding their impact across various different sectors. Always understand the bigger picture. Always understand what this means for all of us moving forward. So with that said, that's going to conclude tonight's coverage of this Jasmy outline. Jasmy, Bajit, Tbgroup, and Datafluct. Is this happening? Or is it already? Some of you guys ask what cold storage solution I use. I use this, and it is the Decent wallet. All right. I also, of course, have a ledger like this. All right. You can get a discount basically from going into the affiliate link, which is in all the live video descriptions and recorded and so on. And for the yahoos that are out there, they're like, this is just a shield. And, we'll fix point this out. And it's a great point. Were you aware that you don't necessarily get a discount link just going straight to the site? No, you actually have to go through a platform like this. So how cool is that? I don't think anybody's complaining about that. But anyway, use the link, get a discount. There's another one here. If you're the type of person you want to get one for you and your significant other, you can get two of them. They actually have another promotion, which is this, and I think this is cool. You can get an all-in-one card wallet plus backup card package. Interesting. I thought that was cool. And again, one of the main key things I like about the Decent wallet is not having to do the red tape of jumping through all the hoops for XDC and the custom folder. I mean, Edward Vincent can vouch on that. Some of you guys can too as well in regards to ledger. That was a pain in the butt. You don't have that problem. You literally open up your phone, it's on your app, track everything that's going on, right? And saying goes, not your keys, not your crypto. You know the drill. Check it all out though if you wish to do so. It is truly the cold storage solution that I use. For the most part, there's still some on ledger that, I kind of split it up on it and so on. So it is what it is. But if I have preference over one, I'm going with this one. A lot easier to use and so on. And some people, even to this day, still ask me which one to use.